Well, we've not done this for a while, but it's time to have a pub shed and home bar chat. Now, over the years of doing this podcast, we kind of have had lots of different home bar and pub sheddies on the show to talk about their home bar and pub shed journey. And then we got to a stage maybe over 6 months ago or so where we seem to have gone through most of the people in the Instagram community who wanted to come on and have a chat with us. But we've had a bit of an influx, and there's been lots more home bars join the Instagram pub shed community. So I thought, right, it's about time we start getting back on with our home bar and pub shed chats. Now, if you are one of them people that have joined the community over the last 6 months, or maybe before that, and we've never had you on the show, and if you want to come on for a very quick chat with us about your home bar journey, then please do get in touch. But I'm very, very pleased to introduce today's pub shed and home bar, and it is the Spencer Arms. Here we go. He's here, Speno.
Jimbo, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I'm loving the fact you've got the t-shirt on and everything. You dressed for the occasion.
Of course.
So we were just chatting before we started, and I was looking because we have a separate podcast series as well. So all of these home bar and pub shed chats come on this podcast to start with, but then they also go on to our home bar and pub shed sessions, or pub shed and home bar sessions, which is a podcast available wherever you get your podcast, not just on Spotify. Obviously now we're on YouTube as well, but I can tell you, you are our number 38. You'll be episode number 38 out of all the home bars and the pub sheddies that we've had on over the years. So yeah, a pleasure to have you on, Speno. How's it going then?
It's a pleasure to be on, Jimbo, and to actually not just watch you but chat to you. Yeah, it's going great, mate. Absolutely brilliant. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, I'm really pleased that we can, and you're the perfect person to have as our first YouTube home bar and pub shed as well, because obviously we started YouTubing as well as having our podcast over we started only the YouTube thing a couple of months ago, and you are like the YouTube man. You've got your own channel as well. You've been doing your reviews for a while now, and I love what you're so engaging, and it certainly makes me want to go out and find the beers that you're talking about.
Oh, brilliant. I think it's just that's why I've done that bit at the end, like an idiot production, because I don't know, I don't take it too seriously, but then sometimes I really do. It seems as if I don't, but then I do, But yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun.
The bit that I really, really liked as well, in particular, the video I really liked was one of your recent ones, and the Halloween one. And I love it when people theme. You know what we did with our podcast as well? We love to theme things up around, when it gets to Christmas and Halloween and all. I love the theme sort of thing. And that was a brilliant episode that you did.
Well, I've got to thank my brother Jason for that. He's got a cinema lobby at home. It's absolutely outrageous. He's got a full cinema room, cinema lobby, and it was the only place to go and video. And he gets really into it as well. So yeah, that he's got all the characters, and they're all full size, and something I need to talk about at some point with him as well. So yeah, brilliant, good fun.
And the other thing is you've got over 200 followers now on or subscribers, we call them on YouTube, don't we? So yeah, you've gone over that sort of like landmark as well, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I think as well that helps with being mentioned by yourself, and also there's other reviewers that I follow as well, and I mention them, and then they mention. It's just a big sharing. It's just a big community, isn't it, of shares? I think we're up to 249 now. I think so. It's
brilliant. That's only a few weeks ago as well. I remember you going over 200. So absolutely brilliant. So when was it you started your YouTube channel? And how long ago was it?
Oh, crikey. Do you know what? That's something I can't tell you. The weeks just fly by, don't they? The hours fly by, the days fly by. But I honestly, that's a question I can't even answer.
Was it this year then, basically?
I'll tell you when it was, yeah. I just thought it was when the NitroSurge cap first came out, the Guinness NitroSurge cap. And I was watching sort of reviews about how to use it and that for me, because I love McGuinness, as you know. And I did actually think, oh God, because I read all the instructions and make sure I'm a bit sort of like precious with things like that. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a YouTube channel and make a video about it. And that's had over 12,000 views now, which I'm really pleased with. So yeah, I think that's when it first sort of started, because of that NitroSurge cap. So,
brilliant. Yeah. Well, we will do this at the end as well, but just reminders. I mean, it's easy to find your YouTube channel, isn't it? It's simply just the Spencer Arms if you search that up on YouTube.
You can also, I think now, and I've been checking with a few people that don't follow me, if you just Google hashtag Speno waffle, that seems to be honest with you, and I'm really, really thinking to myself, whenever I have a conversation, I always do talk and engage, but when I'm on the YouTube, I'll waffle. So yeah, so Speno waffle, hashtag Speno waffle, you should find me there.
I was going to ask where that name comes from, but yeah, I think we can tell. Good stuff. I'm winding you up. Anyway,
Right.
let's get on to the pub shed chat, shall we? Because we want to know about your bar, because it's a great looking place. I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen shortly. But first of all, tell us where it all began for you when it comes to having a home bar or a pub shed.
Well, the journey started when I actually met Jane in 2019. A friend of theirs had what they called the cave, and they said they've invited us around for New Year's to go and have like a few drinks around there. And he had this man cave, as we used to call them years ago, and I was just in awe of it. And I went, oh my god, I would love a pub at the bottom of the garden. Didn't really think it would happen, and then obviously, you know, me and Jane, we were for keeps. And when we decided that, you know, she was going to sort of sell up and move here, she had a dream and I had a dream. So she said, come on, let's make the dream come true. And because I'm a chippy, I'm a joiner, sort of by trade. I've done that, you know, most of my life. I mean, I've changed direction a bit now. I was going to build one myself. But by the time you sort of like look through the material costs, it was absolutely outrageous. So I found, looking at ideas, I don't know whether, are we allowed to say, we can say Dunster House. So Dunster House, they supplied this cabin as a log sort of cabin. Service were brilliant, and it came, and then you build it up. But I did make some improvements to it, I must admit. Because some of the roof details weren't quite, I don't know, to my spec. So I added some bigger fascias, some lead work on the top, just to make it a little bit more rainproof, really. But yeah, so that was that, and the dream became a reality. You know, brilliant.
So how long ago was that then? And I know you mentioned earlier you're not very good at remembering dates and stuff, but yeah, how long roughly have you had the home bar?
2022. Yes, it was established in 2022. So it was the summer, or was it the summer? Yeah, I tell you when it was. It got, you know, that outrageously hot summer we had, where we were in 40 degrees and things. Unfortunately, it got delivered, and then something happened that meant we was away. I don't know. I might have been working out of town or something, or it came when we were on holiday, and it had to be delivered on the drive and then sit there for a few weeks in that ridiculously hot sun because I couldn't work on it. Oh, I know. No, I tell you what it was. The concrete base couldn't be done. So it had to sit there for a few weeks, bless it, and it twisted up a little bit, but yeah. So it was the summer of 2022, and that really, really hot summer when it came.
And how big is the bar dimension wise then?
6 meters by 3 meters. So yeah, it's all right. It's
decent size, yeah.
Yeah, we can get 20 people in here.
Brilliant. That's what you want, innit?
Yeah, not big
and crowd. Well, speaking of obviously the visitors that you get, what do they make of it then?
Oh, they love it. They love it, especially when you can't really see it, but especially when, and as you know, we all love to pull a pint, don't we? So most of the people that come, if we have guests around, well, they always say, "Oh, you know, you're too generous. You ought to not do this." But I always get an ample on, and I ask them what beer they like, and I try and get a style that will suit, you know, most, and then I get them behind here, and they can pull a pint, and I love it. You love it, don't you? Everybody loves to pull a pint.
So have you also got a Pints 365 pump, or did you get yours from somewhere else? Or
Yeah, no, I've got the Pint 365. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant device, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can get some very, you know, I mean, for your cask ales, you can get some really good priced beers, can't you? Yeah. Obviously, bag in a box or your mini kegs attaching them. And I think you probably watched the same guy who sort of did the review about that was the one that made me want to get it. It's real ale, craft beer, isn't it? And I remember watching his reviews and. Simon, yeah, we had him on Desert Island Beers a few weeks back, and he's definitely the sort of YouTuber that got me sort of going down the route of getting that Pints 365 pump. So yeah, good stuff.
It's awesome.
So I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen then. So this is the Spencer Arms, and I've nicked a few pictures from your from your Instagram. Sorry for this. It is an absolutely brilliant looking place. I mean, you can see obviously the front of it, so you can see that sort of cabin look there. You've got your kind of like window stickers, which look like kind of, they might be etchings. I'm not 100% sure. They look really good. And obviously, I mean, probably I think you might have said it's your favourite feature, but the barrel bar. Absolutely brilliant. So unique. So talk us through some of the things that you've got in your bar then.
Well, I'll talk about the barrel bar first of all, because I wanted to try and create something different, and I was searching sort of like home bars to get some inspiration ideas, and then I wanted to restore one of the barrels that I bought, and I watched a video, another YouTube video is the go-to place, and they took the barrel apart, took the rings off, the barrel fell apart, and then he put it back together. Well, as it fell apart, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to knock the barrel apart and I'm going to make a barrel bar. And I just thought, it's going to be unique. And then I bought some brand new scaffold planks. So, but the thing with the barrel, because obviously a barrel's round, but it's also sort of curved that way, you know, and all the bits of timber, they don't fit, you know, they don't fit in any direction because the rings hold it together. So I had to I made the bar, actually, the curved bar out of like a studding and a plywood. And then I had to fit every single piece of wood all the way around the bar. And then trying to get the actual metal work, because when you cut that, it makes a smiley face because it's going round the barrel and at an angle as well. So that was quite hard. But then the top, I sort of did the top with a straight grain that way, and then fanned it round to do the curve. So it's like almost like looking at a dartboard when you look down. Yeah, so that's one of my. I am really proud of that. And that. But then all this at the back, I don't know. I daren't move the camera in case it like goes over. All this sort of like where the gin is and all that sort of stuff. It's all made from scaffold planks, and I sort of ripped the front down to smaller bits and planed it, and just made it all out of scaffold planks basically. And
brilliant
barrel bar.
You've certainly done an absolutely brilliant job with it, and you know, like see the other things that we can see in there. You know, you clearly the love that you've got for your craft beer and stuff like that through your sort of ceiling that's sort of plastered with the beer wraps and can wraps and stuff like that. And then your dartboard looks amazing. Looks like, is it like one of those dartboards that adds up the score and everything for you?
No, it isn't. It ain't that quite that good, but like it is a good dartboard, and we got it from the Dart Shack in I can't think it was. It's in Leicestershire, but I had to cut. You can probably just shout to cut that arch in the beam, because every time you're trying to go up the top of the dartboard, you're just in the beam every time, and it was right in your eyesight. And you know, and I'm not we all think we're brilliant dart players, and then we've had about 3 beers, and then we're not so good, are we? So, so I had to cut that out. All the decal all over, like the barrel bar and all on the windows and everything. We bought some film to sort of do the frosted look. That was quite easy to fit. And then my daughter's done. She's done all the decal and that. It's all in sort of like a vinyl. She's brilliant at what she does. I've tagged her on Instagram a few times, but yeah, she does all sorts of stuff. The other thing, waffling on, just tell me to shut up.
No, you go for it. Keep going.
It's the table I made. So obviously at the minute we do a sort of aluminium curtain walling and windows and doors and things, and we often rip out old wooden windows, and it breaks my heart because I used to make like sliding sash windows and things, but I had this really solid Iroka sill, and I brought it home. So I made a table out of scaffold planks, and then I ripped down the sill into little sort of like about half inch by 3/8 of an inch, or sort of 12 mil by 10 mil bits of wood, and then routed them in and inlaid them into the table, and made this little table. And it rocks, because everywhere me and Janie go, we never go to a pub where a table don't rock. So it actually rocks perfectly.
You've done that on purpose, though, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear that obviously, you know, it's really handy and great that obviously you've got the woodwork skills and stuff as well from some of the sort of thing that you do. Is that what you've done for the majority of your career? Then is it?
Yeah. So like right from being sort of, I went YTS back in the day. It was YTS, and then I've done that for about 3 weeks before I got a placement with a really, really good sort of like building firm that had their own joiner's shop. So then I was taught by like real old school joiners, and it was real sort of traditional old bench hand joinery. And then we went out doing traditional, you know, on-site work where you're doing cut roofs and things all by, you know, everything's hand. And so I had a lot of years. It's about the last 12 years I've sort of like moved into what we do now, joinery, and that's changed a lot over the years. But I've many years to develop the skill.
Very handy skills to have, especially as a pub shed and home bar owner. Now we need to get on to talking about beer, because obviously that's, you know, we kind of mentioned it at the start, and that's what you kind of do with your YouTube channel. You talk and review about review beers and stuff like that. So we know you're into your craft beers. We also have another feature on our podcast called Desert Island Beers, which potentially, hopefully, you know, you might want to be part of one day, and I'll get Joe to get in touch with you because you'd be a great person to have on the show for that. But without giving too much away, maybe you can just tell us about what is your go-to sort of beer style? What kind of craft beer is it? The one that you tend to lean towards most?
It's really hard to say, isn't it? Because like there's just so much to choose from. But if someone says to me, "You've got to drink one style for the rest of your life," a West Coast IPA, absolutely, and the more hops in, apart from Citra, I'm not a big Citra fan. But yeah, just give me something that's absolutely jam-packed full of hops. It's thick, you know what I mean? And
I'm guessing you like quite a piney flavour as well. If you like your West Coast, I'm guessing you quite like the pine flavours as well.
Yeah, but it's one of those that, now this is a funny thing, because I've talked about this. The pine part of it is something that I don't really get out of the beers much. And I know a lot of people go, "Oh, it's piney," but you know, I always think of piney as walking through a forest and smelling that florally piney smell. And it's something that doesn't really hit me, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I just like nice, big, tropical, juicy, hoppy beers with a real suck your cheek in bitterness, you know, like real.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Well, I will look forward to your future episode of Desert Island Beers once Joe's been in touch with you at some point in the future. Now, let's get on to music, because we always say on the show that, I mean, we are ale and audio, so we've got to ask about ale and we've got to ask about audio. And beer and music are so comparable because, you know, everyone's got different tastes, different flavours, different styles, there's different genres. Everyone likes different things. And I like the other thing that's just reminded me, I also love the fact that you always say, I don't score beers out of 10 unless it's a 10. I'm 100% with you on that, because I feel like I can't do that with beer because I've got such a you know, I've got one type of palate and taste and different to the next person. So I find it really hard to score beers, but yeah, I will say, oh yeah, this is a banging beer sort of thing. So I like it where you are with that. And we sort of say the same about music as well. So what I want to ask is, what if we walked in there on a typical Friday or Saturday night and you've chosen to have some music on? What kind of things might we hear? What kind of style of music? What kind of genre? What sort of stuff might we hear?
Right. Well, it all depends on the guests as well. So I was talking to Jenny about this before, and I said, I'd say typically you'd be looking at probably some 80s. So what we tend to do is we'll put a song on and then create a station from it. You know how you can do that? I mean, we use Apple Music. So yeah, we'll just pick a song and then create a station and then just see what comes of it. But then sometimes I like to put, I don't know, like a 70s soft rock on. But then if we get a couple of friends round, we quite like Pink Floyd. So I'll just put like a Pink Floyd track on and then put the station on and just let it do what it does and that. But typically I would say if we're going to have a party down here, it'll always end up with putting some 80s sort of like music on, some hits, you know, a bit of Wham and things like that.
a bit of cheesy 80s, that kind of thing. Yeah, get up and dance 80s. Yeah, nice one. Well, before I ask the all-important question at the end, I just want to say massive thank you to the Spencer Arms. Speno.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Make sure you give the Spencer Arms a follow, obviously, on Instagram, but also YouTube as well. It's been brilliant chatting with you. So my final question is, what is the song that most represents you and your home bar?
Right. Well, it's got to be, right, Insomnia by Faithless. It is an absolute banging track that always gets played in here. Once we've had a load of beer and we're not worried about the neighbours, who are great, by the way, and we crank it right up and it's boom, you know. So, yeah, Insomnia Faithless.
Absolutely brilliant. Great choice. Cheers, Speno.
Cheers, Jimbo. Thank you, everybody. Take care.